5 times. How do you find the whole proms experience? Is it still exciting?
Oh, it's very exciting. It's unique. I wish we had more of this kind of concerts around the world. I think I should give you an idea. You should have worldwide proms.
Well, I think we'd all agree with you. And Olivier, this is your proms debut, so how have you found being at the Albert Hall?
Very impressive. I knew the place already for a recital last year, but being in the proms, because of course I knew about the proms since a long time ago, and being there, just part of it, it's just something incredible.
Well, tonight's programme features 2 works by Myung, and it's his centenary this year that we're celebrating. Tell me about your first meeting with him.
Oh, well, first meeting and last meeting and every meeting was a very unique, very uplifting experience. He is a person that most closely resembles, among all the musicians that I have met in my lifetime, most resembles a saint. So I don't know how you describe somebody who's virtually a saint.
Well, when you conducted the quartet for the End of Time, didn't he tell you it was the most fabulous interpretation he'd ever heard?
Well, that's an example of how he was, what a positive effect he had. The first time I played the quartet, of course I was very nervous, and I'm sure being the first time it was not particularly good, but he came back and said, "That was the most beautiful performance I've ever heard." And so of course I was flying, I was just flying. Later when I got to know him better, he often said that, but with such conviction that that day
he was transported.
He made you feel that was the case.
Well, Olivier, you've recorded all of Messiaen's organ works. What is it specifically about his music which you find so rewarding to perform?
Everything, especially the spiritual way of thinking the music, which is for an organist also more important. So we are on the organ, especially in France, between sky and the earth. Just on the organ loft, and being there, playing some kind of Messiaen, that kind of music with the acoustic.
Descending.
Exactly.
Well, I believe that the organ here has just short of 10,000 pipes. How does it compare to the organ at Notre Dame with which you're most familiar?
It's totally different. I would say that an organ speaks the language of the country, and here, so the language in England is something quite smooth, I would say, much more than the French, laughing French. And I think the organ speaks a little bit like this.
Well, Myung, you've been with your orchestra for 8 years now, so you must have a very special relationship with them. You've described them as your angels.
Yes, after some years, after a particularly wonderful tour, I thought, well, what should I call these wonderful people? Because there's nothing that they don't do that I ask, and more. And so I have many friends among musicians, many wonderful friends everywhere, but only this orchestra I call my angels.
Well, we've had a text for Maestro Chung from Josh in Newport. He says, "Do you keep in touch with your talented sisters?" And we should probably remind people you once formed the Chung Trio.
Of course, although we don't play anymore together, especially since I'm mostly conducting now, I don't consider myself a pianist. But my 2 sisters were, of course, my first real teachers. You know, I was born into music. I knew and loved this music before I was even born, thanks to them, because they were already playing before. You know, for 9 months I was getting ready to come out, and I'm sure I heard their music.
And they come to your performances regularly now, do they? They support you?
Well, one lives in New York and one lives in Korea, so whenever I'm there we meet.
Fantastic. Well, we've also had a question from George Johnston. This is for Olivier. He says, "Do you feel that working with a French orchestra in a Saint-Saëns brings a different colour and texture to the work, even though the organ is an English-built organ and different from the recent recording you made with the Philadelphia Orchestra?"
That's probably true, yes. The sound of the organ is something different, yeah. The sound of the orchestra, sorry, it's something different with the sound of the French, I would say the French character, yes.
Well, George and Josh, thank you very much for your questions, which you emailed to proms@bbc.co.uk. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to the second half.
Thank you.